Hi, I'm Betsy Eubanks, and I'm going to talk a little about helping your scouts with special needs at camp. Now maybe you're getting ready for camp, you're lying awake and you're thinking, concerned about a couple scouts, whether they've been identified with special needs or not. You're worried about how they're going to do at camp. Now I have to say, I have a special needs son. He went all the way, Tiger, all the way to Eagle, and camp was some of his favorite memories, and he has abilities today he would not have if he had not gone to scout camp. But there are some things you need to do to make it a successful experience. I'm going to talk about those. Don't worry about taking notes because there's a resource sheet that really has what I'm talking about, but in a little more detail sometime, but I'm going to make it come alive. Right, so here we go. First of all, it's important to know what level of support a special needs scout's going to need. They might need one-on-one. They might need a parent to come with them or a dedicated leader. And if your camp ratio says you can have so many scouts and so many, adults, and this is going to put you over that ratio, call the camp. They'll understand, work with them. They understand special needs scouting. Right, so that's first. Take the number of adults that you need to take to make it successful. So that's number one. So the second thing is, camps and merit badges, that's a big thing, right? But you've really got to think through how to make the merit badge process successful for all your scouts, but certainly your special needs scouts. So some of the things that you can do. So first, you can't change the requirements. The merit badge requirements, they are what they are. But you can do some accommodation depending on what it needs to happen. But if you need an accommodation, you need to talk to the merit badge counselor in advance. So I'll give you an example. When Max was working on the birding merit badge, he can't draw, his low muscle strength in his hands, but we figured out a way that he could trace the outline of a bird from a bird book after he'd found it and then color it in, and that worked. We talked to the merit badge counselor in advance, and that was an accepted accommodation. So think about how you can do that if you need to do that, and certainly advance work on the merit badge. Print that merit badge workbook out, go through it, read the merit badge book, be more ready to just soak in the experience of camp with all that advanced work. So that's very important. So also when you go to camp, so they might say take 4 merit badges. That's probably not a good idea with a special needs scout. So first of all, you have to understand if your scout has special needs, whether they're physical special needs or emotional, psychological special needs, sometimes just getting around camp takes a lot of energy. And taking 4 hard merit badges is kind of a recipe for a disaster. So figure out what 1 or 2 really good, important merit badges they can take, and then either schedule some extra downtime where they might be able to go work extra on a hard merit badge, or let them just retake a merit badge. I was talking to a camp counselor. He said, yeah, I took art 4 times because I loved it so much. So that is a great way with any of your scouts. So let them have fun, because remember, summer camp is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a grueling, school experience. So, be realistic in that way. You've thought about your workload, you've thought about your accommodations on your merit badges. So what can you do with your troop to help get ready for success for all your scouts? So whether, again, your scout is an identified special needs scout or you just know they have special needs, you can do troop planning and discussion to normalize differences. So in the sheet, I've given you some ideas for that. But for example, make it something you just do when you're planning for any outing to talk about things like, well, okay, what's going to be hard for you? What's going to be easy for you? Because everybody's got a list. Or what, foods do you not like or you have to stay away from? Who has allergies? Things like that. So you have discussions in your unit to normalize those differences, because all your scouts are different. And that's really sometimes what special needs is. Somebody's more different, but really everybody's different. So introduce those conversations to the whole unit so everyone is thinking about how they can make your whole unit have a great scout experience. And then if you haven't looked at some of the special needs scouting resources that BSA has, now is the time, right? They have some wonderful resources online. There's a whole disability working with special needs scouts guide that includes what to do with a parent conference. Sometimes scouts develop disabilities later, whether they're physical, whether they were in an accident, whether they weren't identified, and maybe you haven't had that onboarding parent conference that is so important to the success of a special needs scout. So take a look at the guidelines for that and make some plans if you haven't gotten around to it yet to get ready for camp. So I want to say that I was having a very experienced scouter take a look at this material. He's had years and years of experience with special needs scouting, and he had this to say, which I thought was really good. Mostly at camp, it's communication. So do your advanced work, try and set your unit up for success, which you do no matter what you're doing. But once you get to camp, there are people to talk with, the adults in your unit, the camp staff, they're on your side. They want to have all your scouts have a great experience, feel respected, feel positive, and come back to camp next year. So thank you for taking your scouts out to camp, and I appreciate you watching Screen Boosted Scouting with Montana Council.